Hello, this is Michael. Thank you for listening to the podcast today. I do really appreciate it. Did you know if you'd like more information, you can visit me online at michaelottministries.org. And while you're there, be sure to get my email address and send in your prayer requests and your comments. It's always great to hear from you. Did you know that I'm also on iTunes and Podomatic and Google Play and a few other places, so you can listen online on just about any device that you carry. And if you go online to michaelottministries.blogspot.com, there you can subscribe to my blog by entering your email address in the little box on top of the page. Thanks again for listening today. I know lately I haven't been podcasting a lot. I have been working on some new music that I'm writing, and you'll be hearing that soon. But thanks to all of you for your comments and your well wishes, and thank you so much to so many people who write in and support, and a special thanks to my friend Esteban. Your prayers, your encouragement, your words that you send are more than you'll ever know. Thank you so very much, my brother. And before we begin today, as always, I'd like to take just a moment and pray for you. My loving Father, thank you so very much for all who share this journey with me. And as they hear these words today, I pray that you bless them and heal them, make their lives like heaven on earth. And I pray for them and all the ones that they love, in all the situations that affect their lives. Father, let your grace abound. Do exceedingly abundantly above all they ask or think. Bless them in every which way, and let them know that they are loved. And I pray this through Jesus, my Lord. Amen. The message today is called, Let There Be Light. And you know we start in Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved on the face of the waters. And God said, Let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And evening and morning were the first day. As I was praying this morning, I heard these scriptures in my heart, and I asked Father what was he trying to say to me, and he asked me to write down his words and share them with you. He said, My little ones, I know many of your lives seem so dark. They seem to have no purpose at all. It seems like the little light you once had has dimmed and is barely flickering. It seems that all your hope is gone, and there's no use to keep going. I want to say one thing to each of you today, my children. Let there be light. I am with you in my spirit. I'm hovering over your life, just waiting to make something beautiful and wonderful from all the chaos that is around you. I didn't create the darkness, but I'm here to end the darkness. I even said of my Son that he is the light of the world. And because he lives in you, then you've also become light. You are my lights in the darkness. My little children, you have my spirit. You have my love. You have all you need, and all you need to drive the darkness out of your lives. You just need to hear my voice. It's time to hear my voice speaking into your darkness, and let me bring you into the glorious light of liberty. Most of my children listen to the wrong voices. They listen to the dreaded news of the day, and listen to all the doom and gloom, and your minds get filled with the darkness. It's time to look at the light. In me is all the light that you need to change your world, but you must choose to dwell in the light. This is more than just looking on the bright side, as they say. It's a complete mindset of knowing that no matter what you see with your eyes, your heart knows that I am with you and I have a plan. Your enemy has always used the same tactic. If he can get you to eat enough of the knowledge of good and evil, then you will be poisoned and die. Adam and Eve lived well as long as they feasted on the good and walked with me in the day. When they began to consider that darkness and evil were more powerful than me, that's when they lost their joy and their lives. Think of it this way. Does constantly hearing all the bad news help you in any way? If you constantly worry and fear of all the things they tell you that are coming, does it make you stronger? Yes, there are bad things in the earth, but does dwelling on them constantly make you stronger or weaker? For example, does understanding the mind of evil make you more holy? My little ones, it's time to change the things that you're feeding your minds. You must feast on truth and love, and not on lies and hate. Teaching a child about hate doesn't make him love anymore. Whatever you dwell on is planted in your mind, and it finds its way into your life. You must learn to feast on the good and spit out the evil. Temporary facts are not eternal truths. Truth is eternal. It will be the same 1,000,000 years from now as it is today. Today you may have problems, but they didn't come to stay. They came to pass, just cloud shadows across the prairie. They will drift away in time, and you will not be eternally affected by them. So put aside the lies, and let me give you some eternal truth to dwell on. Put these things in your mind and on your heart, and meditate on them day and night. We will start with who you are to me. You are my beloved children. I planned you long before I made the world. I have loved you from eternity past and love you into eternity future. You are not just part of my plan. You are my plan. It was my good pleasure to give you life. You came from me. You are my children and my offspring. Remember that even before my son went to the cross, he instructed people to call me Father when they prayed. You were always my plan and my love. I am delighted in you and by you. You may have temporary pain and trouble today, but you have everlasting joy awaiting you. Another thing, you are not lacking anything. Do you remember what I told you through my beloved Peter? By my power, I have given you all things that pertain to life and godliness, and these things are brought into your life, not by struggle or strain, but by the simple knowledge of who I am and what our relationship is. When you truly consider yourself as my child, you will no longer wonder about the things that are already yours. When you stop considering that if you are good, you're my child, and if you do bad, I will throw you away. This is not who I am. I am your Father. I have fully planned your life and provided all that you could ever need, so you could rest in my love. You can feast on my love for you and live in peace and provision, or you can consider what your enemy says when he tells you that there's not enough. He always tells you that you are lacking. This is to make you doubt me and my provision. He told Adam and Eve that they were lacking knowledge. He told my son that he needed to turn stones into bread because he would starve in the wilderness without food. He always tells you of lack and trouble and turmoil, but I always speak to you of plenty and of peace. You must learn to abide in my garden and make no room for the serpent. Your mind is the gateway to all things. Whatever you let through the gate goes into your garden and either blesses or destroys it. If you feed on love and truth and peace, your garden will grow. And if you dwell on darkness and lack, your garden will wither. This is what it means to guard your heart. Whatever you let into your mind makes its way into your heart. As a man thinks in his heart is what he becomes. So if you feast on doubt, you will become doubtful. But if you feast on my love and ability, you will become strong and powerful. Imagine for a moment if a child grew up on an island with only my son there. Would he ever consider lack and evil? Or would he just bask in the glory of fellowship with my beloved son and always live in joy? Now consider that this is you. My son lives in your heart by faith. He lives in your garden, in the paradise inside you. All my fullness dwells bodily in him, and now you have all the fullness that I am inside you. As long as you fellowship with us, then you are at peace and live in abundance. If you step outside your spirit and fellowship with the thoughts of evil and darkness, you will forget who you are and where you are from. So for just a moment, let us consider who you are. Think about what I paid for you. What did it cost me to make you mine forever? So now, what do you think you are worth to me? Would I pay such a high price to redeem you from my enemy if I didn't think you were worth it? Would you pour out your blood to save a sinful and evil creature that you despised? Now think of this. Would you pour out your blood to save your beloved children that you love? It's time you learn the truth about yourselves and stop doubting who you are. The thinking that you are sinful creatures that only exist because I have mercy on you is a lie. You are beloved, and I am yours. I am your father. I am your friend. I am your God. Please understand me. Stop listening to the lies. You are mine, and I love you. There's a cross that proves it, and an empty tomb to show you how I feel about you. You were crucified with my son and were raised to new life with him. I did this so your death could be behind you and not ahead of you. You are already living an everlasting life. Right now, you're living this everlasting life in your body. One day you will live in your new body, but you will live forevermore, and you are alive already. My beloved, can't you hear my spirit witnessing to you that this is my love? Are you tired and weary of people who don't understand, telling you how awful you are? They teach you to criticize each other, but you're all made in my image and in my likeness. Your enemy has you thinking that your slight differences are worth dividing yourself over. Some meet on one day and some on another, so you don't fellowship together. I wish you all met every day and broke bread from house to house, as it was in the beginning. You search and search to find differences in each other, and not to find common ground. There is common ground. It's at the foot of my son's cross. Do you not understand that you love me by loving each other? You are so loved by me, so you should love each other also. You must learn to separate people from their problems. Problems attach themselves to people, but they are not the people. Imagine if your friend came to you and he had a bug on his shoulder. Would you say, "Get away from me, you bug"? No, you would say, "Hey, my friend, I love you, but there's a bug on your shoulder. Let me get that bug off your shoulder. And would you please look and see if I have one on mine also?" My son said, if he be lifted up, he would draw all men into himself. He was lifted up on that cross where he took away the sins of the world. He was my lamb who took away all the sin of the entire world. This is the gospel. If you judge each other's sins, then you haven't believed the gospel. The reason people do these acts called sin is because they don't know that their sins have been taken away and they can be born again into holiness. Sin is not the issue anymore. The issue is, are you born again unto holiness, or are you still dead in the tomb? I tell you these things so you can see each other and yourselves in a different light, so you can know your darkness has passed and you are in the light. The darkness in all of your lives is there because the whole world feasts on it continually. I told you that gross darkness would cover the earth, but my glory would arise upon you. The world dwells in darkness, but you don't have to. You can awaken to the light and live in my light. You can walk in the day and bring others into the day with you. It's time to believe the gospel of truth. You are loved and your sins were taken away. You don't have to live at the mercy of the darkness. You can choose light and live in light. You can choose joy and not live in gloom. You can choose happiness and not dwell in sadness. I will not force you to do one thing or another. A shepherd walks ahead of his sheep and calls them by name. He doesn't drive them like cattle. I'm calling you by name. I'm leading you out of the world's ways and into the ways of heaven. I choose for you a good life, full of joy and peace, but I will not force you to live there. You must choose for yourself. You can choose to live in darkness, or you can decide to let there be light. And this is the end of the words he spoke to me this morning. I sure hope you're encouraged by these words. Until next time, grow rich in his grace. I love you each and every one, and I'll see you soon.